everyone. Welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. Oh, shit. I don't know if I should have done this. If you don't know, this is a premier podcast website, cpluscomedy.com. I just said it's a website. Go there. Welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, the premier podcast website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Okay. There's a lot of confusion. This is the third time I'm doing this. I previously recorded the interview with Fabrizio. Let's see, like a couple of weeks ago. And then I thought I had two options of when to put it out. I had an option to put it out, at one point. And I said, let me wait for a wider release. So I waited for a wider release, which is this week. I put it out. However, I recorded that intro. And as you heard in the intro, I said, I don't know why I'm putting this out. Anyway, but then I restarted the second time. So this is my third time. So I restarted. This is my third go at this. So going from that second time to the third time, I restarted because I didn't know. This is, again, a video show sometimes. I didn't know how I was doing the audio thing. The theme song. Anyway, I guess there's no theme song in the video version. I don't know. We'll probably do some type of fade in bullshit. Welcome back. Here we are, 3:45. Enjoy the show. What happened this week? Well, there's like nothing going on. That's why I didn't do an episode last week. I saw the movie Together, starring Allison Brie and her husband Dave Franco. And I just typed in Dave Franco. Instead of typing in the movie, I said the words Dave Franco and my brain went, type in Dave Franco. I enjoyed the movie. Rode my bike over to the movie theater as I usually do. And it was so fascinating to sit there. First of all, let me tell you, AMC started doing half price Wednesdays like they do on Tuesdays, which is great because oftentimes if you go see a big movie on a Tuesday and it's the summertime, there's too many people for me. But I went on Wednesday and it was great. I went on Wednesday and there was a sizable amount of people in the movie theater. And one guy walked in, I'll say it, at a time that I would walk in late, like maybe like 3 or 5 minutes into the movie. And he sat in my row and I was so pissed. I was like, you sit behind me. Yeah, you sit behind me way off. But he sat in the second row in the middle seat. He looked like a nice guy. I'm not going to say anything. He kept to himself, which was great. But Together was very grotesque. People call it body horror. There are moments. I didn't know it was going to be a dark comedy, but there are moments where there were some jokes, and people laughed, and I went, wow, I didn't know this was going to be a funny movie. But there are some scary moments. I did jump at one point. There were moments where people were going, like in the audience, going, "Oh God." Oh. But I think it's an extremely fun movie that if you are a horror fan, you should watch. It is pretty scary. I will say that much. But the writer and director, who may or may not have written the movie, there's a plagiarism lawsuit. I don't believe it. Well, we'll see. But the director did a good job. Writer-director did a good job. Michael Shanks, Allison Brie, and Dave Franco did a good job. That movie kept moving. And it's a great movie about relationships, which I did not expect. So go check it out. Next week I'll be seeing, hopefully, Naked Gun. I was going to say Top Gun. Naked Gun. If there is a showing on a Tuesday or a Wednesday that complies with my very open schedule. Oh, with my open schedule. Why? I wish they would put Naked Gun in the what's it called, the Dolby Theater, the Dolby Atmos Theater. I'd love that. Okay, there's an 11:30 showing on Tuesday. We'll see. If it was 8 o'clock, I'd be so excited. What else has been going on? Let's see. I've been playing some games. What am I playing right now? Nothing of import, I don't think. I have to make my. I said I'm not. I don't. You know. I don't have the money for a Switch 2, but when Pokemon comes out, I will have the money for a Switch 2. And so I have to. I'm not forcing myself, but I am putting more giddy up in my life to play. I think I've spoken about this. The Pokemon DLC for Sword and Shield and for Scarlet and Violet. I'm also playing the RoboCop Rogue City game. I have that on PlayStation. I wanted it on Xbox, and the day I started it on PlayStation, it was on Xbox Game Pass, and I am pissed. I didn't buy it on PlayStation. It was part of the PS Plus, but still. I'd rather play third-party games on Xbox and play first-party games on PlayStation because, quite frankly, I play my Xbox more. Oh, I'm done with Call of Duty World War II. No, I'm not. I'm not, because it wasn't running well. That's right. It was not running well on my Xbox, so I had to delete it. What else is going on? Not much, man. I will tell you that. I think Together was all I had to talk about. Let's give them something to talk about. Okay. What else is going on? This comes from Netflix itself. They released their engagement report, the first half of 2025. People watched over 95 billion hours, which means jack shit. But now they at least they were doing releasing some sort of numbers. They started doing this a couple of years ago, and prior to that, they'd only talk about how many hours were watched, which is nothing. But this is their kind of Nielsen rating S thing because streaming platforms refuse to do Nielsen ratings. They say that nearly half of viewing for Netflix originals came from titles that debuted in 2023 or earlier, which means that people are either A, seeing shows like Ozark and Money Heist for the first time, or B, rewatching those things, which is very cool. Rewatching is also great. I love the idea of people rewatching things. Don't watch something once. See if even if you like it, even if you dislike it, go back and see if I do that. I just recorded Late Night Lately. I talked about that with Adam Sandler movies. I've seen Blended once, didn't like it. Maybe I'll like it a second time. It did happen with what's the one he did with Jennifer Aniston? Not Murder Party. I love Murder Mystery, whatever it's called. I think those movies are so funny. Just Go With It. I saw Just Go With It once, and I was like, I did not like that movie. A couple months ago, I rewatched it. I'm laughing my butt off. Unless I'm tight about that comedy stuff now. Adolescence was the number one most watched show, and along with 145 million viewers. Missing You, Black Mirror, Department Q, they all did really well. More than 1/3 of all viewing came from non-English language titles, and 10 of the 25 most watched series in the first half of the year were non-English, which is great because we want to have more foreign movies and foreign shows be made for these giant platforms. Things like Squid Game, which drew in 231 million views across all 3 seasons in the first half of the year. That means people were like, hey, Squid Game, the final season is coming out in June or July, whenever it came out. Let's finally watch the show. lots of shows from South Korea besides Squid Game, including The Trauma Code, Heroes on Call, Denmark, number 24, Norway, The Murders, The Are Murders, Sweden, The Glass Dome, Colombia, Medusa. Like it's great that they're doing well with these foreign shows. Speaking of foreign, more than 2/3 of the Netflix members are outside the U.S. More than 1/3 of all viewing came from non-English. I said that already. Sometimes I'm just talking. Audiences on Netflix enjoy a variety of shows, films, and live events, obviously. The first half of the year, 280 million viewed hours, were across all of these live events, including WWE Raw. There are a lot of anime fans watching Sakamoto Days and Naruto and classic movies like Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle. Oh, thank goodness, Running Point did well. Okay, Running Point had 41 million. The Four Seasons had 39 million. That's great. Both of those shows were renewed for second seasons. Comedy shows from Spain and Argentina also did well. A lot of kid and family shows, including Miss Rachel's Show. Wow, and K-pop Demon Hunters, which we all know that they love. In fact, they want to make a whole franchise out of K-pop Demon Hunters. I believe that they're mulling over 2 sequels as well as a live-action remake, which is insane. It seems that this Netflix company is doing pretty well. Oh my goodness. It's good that they're releasing these numbers. I wish they would release like kind of truer numbers, and also that they would what is going on? Someone keeps trying to sign in to my Amazon account. Fuck off. I've already changed the password. But I want these things to continue to do well, and I want them to talk about this more, which is it's fascinating for a lot of people. All right, let's move on. And I hope Hulu and Netflix, Hulu and Peacock and the rest follow through, because that would help their advertisers, or maybe it wouldn't. And finally, here's a story about what actual top podcasters make. Now, this is from the New York Times, written by Jessica Testa, and I think, I'll say this. It is from Joe Budden, who used to be a rapper, and now he's basically just like a talking head podcaster guy. There's one problem with this, in that with the idea of making money from podcasting, in that there are podcasters who have been around for a very long time who would eventually do well, like Mark Maron, like Never Not Funny, Jimmy Pardo and everybody at Never Not Funny. Those would eventually do well. But the idea that they were going to make money from that in the beginning was because they were the two of the first podcasts. It was crazy. They were like, okay, well, we can charge for this. In Never Not Funny's case, we can charge for this and then can make some money. And then eventually they started making some money. Then they started touring. And then people like Conan came in, and Serial, and everybody else. And now everybody thinks you can make money. This is not something. Again, the people that you hear about making money, like Joe Budden and Smartless and Conan O'Brien, that's new, and that's not something that is going to happen for every single person. Case in point, I've been doing this 12 years. So I just want to preface this story with that. So what Jessica Testa here is writing about, she's covering, the 1%, the Bernie, the 1%. during that interview, I interviewed another comedian, which will be coming out next week, and I did a Bernie Sanders impression. So again, we're talking about Joe Budden. He's earned, according to Patreon data, he's earned roughly, and this is all an accident, but roughly $900,000. He earns that per year on that. Yeah. That was just the month of June. Overall, the Joe Budden Network is on pace to generate more than $20 million this year, according to its chief executive, Ian Schwartzman. So now Joe Budden and his team are just talking about the numbers. They've earned an average about $1.4 million per month from Patreon alone, and it has about 70,000 paying subscribers. Subscriptions range from $5 to $50 per month, with higher tiers granted access to more episodes, including from spin-off shows. 2 weekly episodes of the flagship podcast are released free to the general public. This means its 2025 subscription revenue will probably exceed $12 million. Shows like Chapo Trap House, I believe that show, and other Patreon-based shows are the ones that are doing well. Again, it takes a lot to do that. The Joe Budden Network employs more than 30 independent contractors in roles such as production and administrative support. Payment of these contractors and on-air talent is the company's biggest expense. For example, more than $1.5 million annually goes to the co-host of the Joe Budden podcast. I don't listen to the show, so I'm reading through these names, and I'm okay. Do I know this guy? I don't know who this guy is. Other costs include production fees, marketing expenses, and real estate. The company is in the process of purchasing, for roughly $2 million, the waterfront condominium unit in Edgewater, New Jersey, where it records audio and video for the Joe Budden podcast. It currently rents the unit, and residents in the building have complained about sharing space with the operation, which I would do the same. Where I live in Atlanta, I think like a year or two. It had to be 2 years, 2 or 3 years after I moved in. There was a 90-day fiance stint being shot in the building, and it was quite frustrating sometimes. I remember one time I was riding my bike down the street, and I passed by them. I saw the couple. I cannot pull the couple for you, but I saw the couple, and I just thought, and they were waiting. I think they were doing reshoots for something, but they were like waiting for the camera. The camera's like waiting, and I just saw like they were just like holding for something, and I'm just like standing there, and I was riding my bike, and I was just like, this is insane. When Joe's show was at Complex, he was given a what he calls an allowance, $500 a week. Then they moved the show pretty loudly too, because I don't listen to the show, but I definitely remember the split between Complex and Budden. And he decided to take it independent. He was going to get a new podcast partner, and it was going to be paid $44 million over 2 years, but that it would require them to remove the show from YouTube. And he said, no, I wanted that kind of autonomy. It's fascinating to see how people like Joe Budden, and then also to see people on Substack even make money. Substack is this year announced a $20 million fund to help entice creators away from Patreon and other rivals. Maybe I'll apply for that. These platforms also benefit from taking a roughly 10% cut of the creators' earnings. Podcasters on Patreon earned more than $472 million collectively in 2024, up from 35% in 2023. It's, people, this is where things are going. People are going to just do subscriptions, unfortunately. This is why I'm such a big proponent of buying movies and TV shows. And maybe eventually I get back to buying music, but I need somewhere to store that shit. If I start buying stuff on Cubuzz or the other ones, it's important for people to make money, but also give listeners a sense of ownership when it comes to this show. And it's good to hear that, Joe gives everybody, free episodes, but at some point people are going to hit some sort of wall when it comes to paying for things, and there's going to be a drop off. But I don't see that happening with a show like Joe Budden's show or Dax Shepard's show or Smartless or Conan's, or they'll find it in the smaller ones. But even still, these niche things can last. Never Not Funny's doing well. Doughboys are doing well. What's the other show I pay for? Big Grande, that sketch group. You pay for their stuff a la carte, and I'm happy to support those 3 shows. But I can't see myself, going for anything else, because that's already, $17 per month for Doughboys and Never Not Funny. And anyway. All right, we're done here. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. If you want to watch a video version of the interview with Fabrizio, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. It's under the interviews. You can also check out the other podcasts on there, the video versions of the podcast, LinkedIn Logs and Late Night Lately. LinkedIn Logs is the jobs podcast, and Late Night Lately is the late night show. So go ahead and check those out over there. youtube.com/cpluscomedy. You can see pretty much everything I've done. If you want to follow us on social media, go to Blue Sky, go to TikTok, go to Instagram @cpluscomedy, me @ChadBlackWhite. Thank you so much for listening, and go see a movie. Go see a movie. Support movie theaters. We love movie theaters in this house. All right, that's the end of the show. I was just talking to get to this point. I'll see you later. Bye.